So we're going to talk about sustainability from our perspective. So Jim, what is new in sustainability? What should I be worried about?
Well, I think the first thing to say about sustainability is it's a little bit different to everybody. They all have a different perspective or need or want, if you might, through sustainability. To some, it might be circularity, where we can take a product, break it down, regenerate it at its end of life use and put it back into use. To others, it might be a structure, a concrete structure for that matter, that we can maintain for many, many years, maybe even repurpose under another whole different need. And again, sustainability in most of our cases ends up being about what's required by green building standards, and that's a lot of what we try to address as much as feasibly possible. What's required by LEED, of course V4, V2.2, and then now we got V5 coming soon. Living Building Challenge is big here in the States. We address that as well quite frequently. And so we have well over 500 products that have sustainability product reports, as well as multiple different attributes that are on those reports, which are directly linked to certificates, from EPDs to VOC emissions to recycled content, which is all third-party verified in our case. Kind of eliminate any kind of appearance of greenwashing. So again, Sam, I think the big thing is sustainability is different to many different people. But for our purpose, I think we're really trying to stay in the lane of green building standards.
Got it. And that's important because we're in the building manufacturing, a building supply business. That is what we do. We make building materials. So that's a great place to be. Again, I don't think in those terms, but I do know my children are constantly asking me, and my two sons, they're all growing up now, and they're constantly asking me about what we do. I had somebody ask me the other day, well, what do we do with the plastic buckets, at the end of the life? I'm like, use them for something else, reuse them. Don't just throw them away. There's lots of ideas and lots of places to reuse these things. From MAPEI standpoint, is there anything else I need to be worried about or concerned with?
Not necessarily concerned per se, but there are other parts of the industry that again, you brought up recyclability. Our new pedestal systems are completely recycled, 100% recycled plastic to start with, and can be recycled in the end as well.
See, that's important. That's really important.
Exactly. Our sound reduction membrane, the RM is recycled car tires, and of course reduces the sound attenuation within a floor system quite a bit. So there's a variety of different things that we try to do to get as recyclable as possible. I will say one thing that's very difficult for us to do is recycle or reuse adhesives.
Correct.
There are some tile companies that take back tile, and that too is, I know, very difficult for them, but it's feasible and can be achieved, and they'll allow for a certain thickness of adhesives, of cementitious-based adhesives. So it is feasible to recycle some of those materials and put them back into use.
So we're doing everything we can do on our end, is what you're saying.
Not sure about that. I think that we can always do more.
Okay.
I have to be honest. I think, right now we're working with the U.S. Department of Energy and training 2 auditors to be able to audit our plants for plant efficiency, if you might, and so that we can now get an extremely good baseline and try to improve on that on a yearly basis. Those auditors who work for us, and once they're trained, will be able to go around and do our other manufacturing facilities and be able to do that type of auditing throughout them. So no, Sam, we're doing a lot, but there's always more we can do, in my honest opinion. And I think that's the benefit of the green building standards, improving the standards, or we might call it making it a little bit more difficult to achieve. That's not necessarily a bad thing if it's achievable. And sometimes the carrot has to be far out there, so that we have to try to really, really work hard to get there. And again, I think there'll always be another carrot.
So that's a great point, because as an ex-installer, I'm always about the room is there. I'm always aiming to reach the end goal, but in reality, there'll never be an end goal here. As we constantly evolve and meet these standards, new things will come up, and we can always improve and get better and better and better at doing this.
Right.
And so there's a conflict internally within me, because I don't see the end goal. The room is 300 square feet, I put in my 300 square feet of tile, I'm done, next job. Whereas that room just constantly is always growing, but we get better at getting towards the end of it, is what is the
Absolutely.
point that I'm getting. And that's great. That's great for the future. That's great for the future generations to come forward. And the products, in the beginning, I felt like when the products first came out, they were inferior because we didn't understand how to make them. But now we understand how to make them safe and better.
That's correct.
Right.
And that's the other part of it too. We try to formulate as well as possible to try and reduce carbon footprint.
Correct.
And in our packaging, et cetera. So it goes way beyond some of the other tools we've got, like carbon credits, et cetera. So again, we're never through the type of manufacturing we do going to get down to a zero carbon footprint. It's just not feasible. At least certainly at this point, absolutely not. And so to be able to acquire credits to benefit those products and to, again, contribute to third world countries and sustainable projects, that's another step that we do.
So you mentioned zero. I know we have product lines that have zero labeling on them. What exactly does that imply?
Well, again, it implies a lot more than just the label. It implies that as a company, again, we're striving to produce or formulate to reduce our carbon footprint. We're trying to improve our plants at a constant basis. We're trying to have packaging that's recyclable. In addition to that, we're trying to get these products down to a zero carbon footprint, and that's, as I said, not possible at this time.
Right.
So we purchase carbon credits to offset that, if you might, and to try to achieve zero with that product line that year. And that's an annual thing, so that's a constant, something we have to constantly keep up.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's very, very cool. It's good that we do that. It's important for the industry. It's important for all of us, and it should just if we're going to be a world leader, we need to be a leader. We can't be a follower. We have to be out in front, and hopefully our competition will look at us and go, hey, that they're doing it, we need to do this also. Because it's good for the environment. It's not just good for us, MAPEI. It's good for everybody. And people live on the floors that we put down. This isn't some inanimate object. It appears that way, but people's grandchildren, their dogs, their kids, their husbands, their wives, their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, they're living on the floors that we put down from the products that we make, and it's important that we protect that whole umbrella of a family.
Correct.
Right.
Agreed, and I think that's, again, the importance of constant regeneration and be able to make things more difficult to achieve, but again, they have to be achievable.
Correct.
To have goals that are not feasible makes no sense whatsoever.
Correct.
There can be targets for the future, and maybe there's other things that are developed that allow us to get there that aren't available at this time, and some of that's true. I mean, I think we don't have EPDs on every single product we have. It's not feasible at this time. It's a time-consuming process. We work very hard to add as many products as we can, and certainly the important ones. But we can't have them on every single product this time, which brings up a point. If you're involved in green construction and you're involved in a LEED or Living Building Challenge project, start reaching out for products as soon as possible so we can make sure we get the products that lend themselves best to your project, as opposed to after the fact getting asked for maybe an EPD on a product that at this time we don't have. Right. We're not going to be able to turn those around in a week or two and get them to you, so it puts us really in a difficult spot. There's a lot of projects out there. Many of them know that they're trying to achieve a green rating system. Reach out to your vendor, your salesperson, if you might, for setting materials, tile, et cetera, finished materials, as early as possible.
Yep. Very good. Anything else we need to hit on here? You think we got it covered?
I'm sure there is, but
all right. Anybody got any questions? Go forth. Do the right thing. Yes, sir. Correct.
What would you suggest, I guess, for your product line? Is there directions, on labels that give you direction on how to best clean?
Maintain?
No, like you do a project, rinsing the bucket.
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on the product, of course, and some of that waste needs to be cleaned, if you might, so that it's not going down into, well, I'll tell you what, I live in South Florida. I don't want to go into the ocean and affecting our turtles, as an example. So, maintenance on a project is important. Many areas require silt or cleanup sludges, if you might, that you can dump it all in one place, and it eventually becomes a hard mass, and they just tow it off as a solid material. But cleaning, you need to be careful with. I mean, we obviously, as I said, we don't want that going down our water system. So it really depends a lot on the type of product that you're talking about and all that.
And the-
but yes, of course we do.
Yes.
And then some of that's regulatory as well through our SDS and so on. So absolutely, as well as proper PPE, et cetera. So yeah, absolutely. And cleaning up on the front end of it, I think one thing that we get asked about a lot, and it's semi-related to sustainability, but and somewhat not, is the silica regulations. And that's really affected things. Years ago, not many years ago, we'd take a broom and sweep up a room, right? Get ready to start setting tile. Today, you really can't do that and create that type of dust in a room, and people are sensitive to that. And so, maybe a sweeping compound, not oil-based, not wax-based. You have to be careful what type you use, because we don't want to put a coating there and to make that difficult to bond to. But that's the other thing, too, is preparing before installation. Very important.
Good question, thank you. Anybody else? Everybody, thank you for listening. Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
I appreciate you.